are talking poo. More than 3 million of us bought a pet dog during lockdown, which means the issue of their waste and its disposal has become a big problem.
Yep, that's right. Dog poo bags that aren't compostable are increasingly being seen as environmentally unfriendly, a hazard, with most ending up in a landfill. The latest research has found that 1 in 3 dog owners doesn't clean up after their pet pooch because they think poo bags are wasteful. But what's the alternative? I mean, I'm sorry, but who's going to use a Tupperware box? I mean, is it reusable? What do you do once they pooed in it? Who washes it out?
Well, hang on a minute. Well, could you not... I've never thought about this before, but I'm getting involved. Yeah. I don't have a dog. Well, could you just put bleach in it, clean it, and then mark on it the dog Tupperware box so you don't use it for a packed lunch another day? I mean, that would be one way around it, wouldn't it? It would,
right.
Wouldn't it?
We need to get opinion on this. To bag or not to bag is the question. And joining us to discuss this is dogs behaving very badly presenter Graham Hall, who says we need bags to clear up our pooch's poo, otherwise there will be mess everywhere. And Zion Lights, author of The Ultimate Guide to Green Parenting, who says the bags are a complete menace. Well, let's start with you, Zion. I mean, what is the solution? There doesn't seem to be an easy fix to this smelly problem.
I would say that the solution is to use cornstarch bags. So a lot of the biodegradable ones aren't actually biodegradable, so it's a bit of a misnomer to call them that. We shouldn't ever be flicking the dog poo, I'm afraid. It's not just that children might step in it, but actually when there's a lot of dog waste in one area, it changes the balance of the soil, and that soil then suffocates native plants. So that's really not a good solution. It does need to be bagged, but we need to stop using single-use plastic bags. OK,
so is the problem then fraud, essentially? People are thinking they're buying biodegradable bags, thinking they're doing the best thing, clearing up after their dogs and buying bags that are good for the environment, but they're just being mislabelled. And how can people be getting away with that?
Well, here's the thing. Anything is technically biodegradable if it has the right conditions in which to decompose. So, you know, there's no real labelling to prove that these are biodegradable bags, but if you test it and you kind of put it in a compost bin, you'll see that it doesn't break down even given the right conditions. You know, really cornstarch bags are the way to go because they have been shown to break down properly, and they're still hardy enough for you to put your dog poo in it and take it home without it, you know, breaking on the way. I
don't know what a cornstarch bag looks like. Is it something that is like plastic in the sense everything is contained, smell and mess, or is it like a paper bag? No.
It looks very similar. I think the issue for people is that it does cost a little bit more money, but I think we really have to think about the cost to the environment of these single-use plastic bags.
But,
I mean, we've banned them,
that actually might price some people out that can't actually afford a compostable bag or one of these bags that you're talking about. What do you do then?
When we, so, I mean, people said this about carrier bags, didn't they? And then there was a lot of kind of... there were a lot of people rejecting this idea of putting a charge on carrier bags, and then they did that, a 5p charge, and now the amount of use of those single-use plastic bags has gone down by 95% since 2015. That's what we really need for this kind of behaviour change, is just to make it so that the cheap option isn't the environmentally damaging one, because actually they might seem cheap to you, but the cost is going to our wildlife and our wild spaces.
I suppose the problem is, and if we can come to you now, I suppose the problem is that with plastic bags, you were in the shop, you either had to pay the 5p or you walked away, didn't you, without your stuff or trying to hold things in your hands. Whereas the danger with this, I guess, is without the bags cheaply and readily available, people might just think, oh, blow it, I'll leave it.
Yeah, I mean, I think... aren't they? This is happening already. I mean, I went for a walk on Dartmoor the other day. I was so excited. The restrictions were lifted. I could finally get out to one of my favourite places. I live near Dartmoor. And I went on this remote walk, middle of nowhere, and I was met by a pile of plastic bags with dog poo in them. I couldn't believe it. It was in the middle of nowhere. They get everywhere. And the problem is, the reason people do it is because the plastic's so hardy, they don't feel bad doing it because they sort of know it's contained and they think it looks tidy, and they just leave them there.
Graham, let's come to you. That is the problem, isn't it? That kind of people have brought it on themselves because they haven't behaved responsibly.
Well, I think that might be right. What I would say is I think there is obviously a problem, and it's quite right that Zion points it out. The kind of bags that don't break down quickly, and the cornstarch bags, by the way, in the ground, it's said that they break down in about 3 to 6 months. So they're definitely the ones to go for. To use them, it's pretty much the same as any old bag. So I think that is the answer. They don't cost that much more, and I did a bit of research from a book last year about the cost of owning a dog, and it's many thousands of pounds over the lifetime of a dog. So frankly, if you can't afford cornstarch bags, you can't afford a dog. I'd be as clear as that. But the thing is, other alternatives aren't going to work. Apologies, by the way, to anybody who's halfway through their mushy Weetabix right now. But some poo, some poo just ain't for flicking, Perhaps getting a shovel or an idea like that, that's not going to happen, So walking along, hi ho, it's off to work we go. That don't work. So it needs to be a bag. My worry is that we've actually done quite a good job, ironically, over the last sort of 10 years or so of saying to people, look, bag it and bin it, right? And then we've caused ourselves our own problem, because leaving it lying around is a big issue. One of your viewers there said, look, children are still going to play over there. And there's a serious health condition, and I won't bore you with the details, but basically, in rare cases, it can cause loss of sight. And it tends to be children that are affected by it because they play in the dirt. So we do have to get rid of the dog poo. We've got to be responsible. But the answer is the right kind of bags that do break down. And then, I would say, a system that takes it away in a composting stream so it doesn't end up in landfill.
Well, there you go. That's the answer. And lots of you have commented on this. One of you saying that he's got 6 Great Danes and he uses the cornstarch bags and a shovel, which I think relates to what you've got. So if you want to be responsible, Graham, you seem to have found a solution.
Marta on email's got a good suggestion. Take the dog poo home and flush it down the loo.
Don't do that.
Why?
No. It pollutes our waterways. I mean, dog poo contains pathogens. As Graham's just said, it can be quite seriously harmful to human health. Don't flush it down the loo.
So bag it in an appropriate bag and bin it. All right, good to talk to both of you this morning. Thank you.